Oh my, Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman. Oh my. I mean, there's no hero in this story. I've not seen anybody on as good a run of bad luck as Chris Weidman. And I'm going back 4 years. I'm going back 3.5 years. I mean, you go and look at Weidman's. This is one of the best ever. This is one of the best middleweights to have ever done it. Taking out world champions left and right. Taking out top contenders in Mark Munoz in the first round. Taking out world champions like Anderson Silva. Taking out rematches with Anderson Silva. Throw Lyoto Machida and Vitor Belfort in the mix. I mean, he runs into Gegard Mousasi. And it was 2 weeks after the new rule was put into place about what is a down fighter. Oh, and by the way, they fought in New Jersey who did not adapt the rule. I mean, it was something along these lines. I'm close, if not 100% there, but it was a mess and nobody knew the rules. We all believed it was going to be a disqualification, including Weidman. It ends up going TKO victory for Mousasi. Weidman loses, right? I mean, it's just one of these things. Okay, fine. Hey, learning lesson, right? When you tell the ref I can't continue and you're trying to play that game, all right, great. You don't have to cry for him, but could have been anybody in that situation because none of us knew the rules. None of us were apprised, and that includes the referee who did not make the call. He left and sought information from another referee. It's just one of those things. We just didn't know. 2 weeks old. By the way, it was the rules of the ABC, and we're in New Jersey. Are we following those rules? Just one of those things. Go to the fight with Yoel Romero. Chris Weidman's beating his ass. Yoel jumps up in the air, knees him in the head, gets a TKO. Possibly the only sequence Yoel won all night, won him the whole fight. Fast forward, at some point along the way, everything I just told you about Yoel, except insert Jacare. I was there live. They're in the third period, time's running down, and Weidman is pitching a shutout. And dominant as he's doing it. He is dominating the wrestling. He is never in danger. He is dominating the kickboxing. He's barely taking a shot. He takes one shot. It cuts him open. It puts him down. It was just a mess. You just go, oh, no, how'd this happen to the same guy? How did this happen to Weidman again? Why does this guy have such bad luck? He goes up. He takes on Dominic Reyes. He's in a main event. He's at 205-pound, fresh coat of paint. He's going to beat this young man named Reyes, who nobody's heard of. He's going to draw right into John Jones. It's going to be New York on New York, former champion versus current champion. Everything works. Turns out Reyes is pretty goddamn good. We didn't know at the time. Right? We didn't know at the time. There was also a meaningful size difference going up to 205 pounds, but Reyes stands about 6'3". It was just one of these things where, okay, didn't work, but happened to poor Weidman again. Then he goes out there tonight. Weidman's not a kickboxer. He's good at kickboxing. He's not a kickboxer. So Weidman could have done, they call him an All-American. You guys know what that is. It's not because he's the sweet kid that likes to eat apple pie on the 4th of July here in America. He won it. He won the title of All-American through his wrestling days. That's why they call him the All-American. All-American wrestler decides to go be a kickboxer. And let me just break this down for you really fast, okay? The leg kick, as was taught to me and was taught to all of the guys and shown its effectiveness, starting with Marco Huas, going on to Chuck Liddell, so on and so forth after that, but very specifically is your shin to your opponent's thigh. The thigh will be identified as above the kneecap, but below the hip joint. Anything there is the thigh. Guys now introduced to this sport by Benson Smooth Henderson, made famous most recently, example that you'll remember, is Poirier versus Conor McGregor. They're now going to what's called the calf. Now that's anything from the knee joint down to the foot. Any part of that leg is now the calf. Weidman threw at full velocity. He did not pull this at all. Whatever it was he saw, he knew Uriah Hall did not see. And if you watch the defenses or lack thereof by Uriah Hall, Weidman's right. Weidman had a free-range kick. He set this up. He tricked him. He has to do it quickly, but he threw it full force right into the knee, the only part you don't want to hit. Now, that's the difference of an inch. If he's an inch up, he's going to go right into some soft muscle. If he's an inch down, he's going to go right into a soft muscle known as the calf. Start to create a Charlie horse type atmosphere. Landed it right on the knee. Reach down, guys, and just feel your knee. Just take both hands. Just feel your knee. Feel how hard that is. Go feel your knee and feel that joint and then touch your skull. I mean, which one's harder? It is arguably the hardest part of the human body, and he kicked it with his shin. Shin snapped. Now, I'm telling you what happened. I know that you saw it. I'm just telling you how and why. He missed. He was 1 inch off. So now you go and look at this compound fracture. I mean, a good run of bad luck. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. And unless you're a student on Chris Weidman and Chris Weidman's career like I am, if you just are a casual or you bring him up on SureDog and you look at his record, you are going to be deceived. Deceived beyond deception. That is not who he is. And those wins and losses are not indicative of the skills between himself and his opponent. It's one of those things. But it is one hell of a run. Does he come back from this? Knowing Chris Weidman, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll never go out like this. Never. How much can be different if he is to come back? And there will instantly be a comparison made to what happened with Anderson Silva, because Weidman was the other principal in that contest. Anderson Silva, when he came back, and it took well over a year till he could get in there, only won one fight. Anderson only won one fight in 8 years. And I know that he beat Diaz. He beat Diaz and he beat Brunson. The Brunson one he should not have won. They gave it to him, and the Diaz was overturned for the drug test. I think I'm right. I'm not looking that up. That's off the top of my head. I believe that's exactly right. And many people would believe it was because of that injury. I'm one of those people. There's a little bit of a difference. Anderson Silva is a kickboxer. That leg that was broken also represented one of the major tools, one of the major weapons in the arsenal of the Spider. That's not the case with Chris Weidman. Chris doesn't need to be kicking in the first place. Now, I'm being very hard on Chris, but I'm not tempted to be hard on Chris. I care about Chris, and I'm trying to put a shine on this. I'm trying to spin it just a little bit, but it's tough. It's tough when the former world champion and future Hall of Famer is laying in a hospital facing 12 months out before he can even get in the gym to train, should he elect to want to do that. And I'll speak for him right now because, yes, he's coming back. It will be a little bit different, not only psychologically, but also from a physicality standpoint. He doesn't need that kick. He does not need that kick. He does need to remember that he is an All-American. And not for the apple pie and the 4th of July. He's an All-American because of the skills that he possessed in Division I big-time athletics. He could be just fine. And Weidman might be the best middleweight out there. You ready for that? He might be. And if you go look at the matchup of Weidman versus Izzy Adesanya, I mean, when I tell you that Weidman might be the guy, you're going to have a few things go your way. He might be the best middleweight out there. It's one of these situations. And then what do you do with Uriah Hall? How does Uriah Hall possibly take this moment in, take this victory in? He needs to look humble, which he did. He needs to look displeased, which he did. Uriah Hall did everything right. He even said, no matter what happens by the time you come back, all the way up to if I am the champion, Weidman, you say the word, I get back in here with you, I owe you one. That was a cool move by Uriah Hall. There was nothing else that you could do. There was no hero in that story, but there was humility shown by Uriah. It was appropriate. It was mature. He had to figure this out on the fly. How am I going to conduct myself? And Uriah Hall passed. He did perfect.